Welcome to A Works Process with Sonya Tayeh, Unveiling. I'm Caroline Cronson, the producer of Works Process at the Guggenheim, the performing arts program at the Solomon Guggenheim Museum. We're delighted to present this with the Catskill Mountain Foundation, our partner and host for Sonya Tayeh's Quarantine Creative Bubble Residency. We will be presenting this performance as a chamber piece at the Guggenheim on June the 1st. So we're very grateful for the chance for them to work on this earlier. As our mandate is to commission new work and illuminate the creative process, we're delighted to be able to do a Works in Process focusing on this bubble residency and the work created for the Guggenheim performance with the Catskill Mountain Foundation. This is being filmed on May the 30th as everything begins to open up in New York. We would like to thank the Catskill Mountain Foundation, the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation, and Doris Duke Charitable Foundation for making this work possible. So now we're going to open with an excerpt from Unveiling. Then you'll see Sonya Tayeh discuss her process with Duke Dang, Works in Process's General Manager. Have a wonderful time and enjoy. Thank you.
Welcome. I'm Duke Deng, the General Manager of Works Process, and I'm so delighted to welcome choreographer Sonya Tayeh. Sonya, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. This has been such a gift. Thank you.
Well, what you are creating, Unveiling, is truly such a gift. Considering we are emerging from a pandemic, it is a new world, and it truly feels like this is an unveiling.
Yeah, it's so crazy how that connected from being created 2 years ago. So crazy.
So let's talk about the creation story. Where did Unveiling start?
Sonya from Catskill called to see if I would create a work for the Catskill Gala on some ABT dancers. So of course I jumped to the chance to work with ABT dancers. That's a given, and I'm trying to maintain this versatile career after coming from this Broadway show. I jumped at the chance to find this type of creation in a different way. So I hired Robbie Fairchild, Gabe Stone-Shayer, and Stella Abrera. Am I saying her name correctly? Is it Stella Abrera? Yes.
Yes. So was it the first time you had worked on ballet dancers?
I worked with LA Ballet many, many years ago, but I haven't in so long. So I was so excited to jump at the chance to express my work in that type of field.
And on these superstars?
Stars, just marvels at the craft. I always call them marvels. They're so rooted in their work and so open to getting their bodies used to something new and different.
So it started summer 2019 as a piece for 3 ballet dancers for Catskill.
Yes.
Okay, where did it go from there?
Then from there we got commissioned to perform it at Fall for Dance in City Center. And that was, I could feel this energy of this piece starting to brew and grow and wanting it to brew and grow. And it was a beautiful experience to be in the City Center studios, building the piece even deeper for City Center.
So we need to thank Sonya at Catskill,
Yes.
Stella at Catskill,
Yes.
and we also need to thank Stanford and City Center in Arlene, of course.
Yes.
Yes, I remember being at Fall for Dance and seeing the performance with Moses.
Yes, Moses. So when they asked me to do the piece, I've been waiting for the I saw Moses Sumney perform many years ago. He was opening for an artist, and I remember running out because I kept hearing about him, and the entire, it was this big, loud, beautiful concert, and everyone just got quiet. And there was this incredibly surreal experience, and I just kept saying, I want to do a piece with him. I love live music. I love creating work with live music and live musicians. And the minute Sonya asked me, I was like, this is the piece. I should ask Moses if he wants to be a part of it and if he's interested. And he said yes.
And how fortunate are we?
Yeah.
So by the time you got to Fall for Dance, Moses was performing live, and then you also brought in Cassie Trenery, right?
So after City Center.
Oh, after City Center.
Yeah.
Okay.
The beautiful, angelic Sonya gave us more of an opportunity to go to Catskill during the pandemic, so the summer of the first summer of the pandemic, where we were all frozen. And just devastated on what to do, and I had all of these ideas brewing and didn't know when and how, and said, come up to Catskill and let's keep nurturing this piece. And
thank you, Stella.
Thank you, Stella. Thank you, Sonya, again and again and again. And we were there, and that's when Cassie and Jacob, this other beautiful dancer that's not with us right now, but that I've worked with for a long time, was there. And it just kept, you can just feel this heartbeat getting louder and the pulse getting bigger, and I was able to just focus on material, just to have space to, we quarantined together and we just have this beautiful land, walking to the studio while you're seeing deer and walking through nature. It was so beautiful, and just felt like from that walking inside the trauma that we were experiencing, being able to see each other in this light and just craft work felt scary, but also it gave it some ease. Like there wasn't this premiere. And I hope to now, as the world is opening up, hold on to that calm that I felt. There was this play that was in the room every day, and it just kept evolving.
So for those of you that don't know, Catskill is on 150 acres on the Hudson River in the village of Tivoli. There are 3 studios completely isolated with artist housing, and in August of 2020, you created some magic there, Sonya.
Completely magical for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, so
And that's when you came again too.
yes,
Yeah.
it was. I mean, tears were
Yeah.
literally coming down my eyes as I was seeing that.
Just to see such creation in the middle of a pandemic, it was startling, and in a good way.
Yes, yes. The wonder of when and how, and we just kept saying to each other, let's just create art into the universe and let the ether take over the energy and hopefully help heal it.
Right.
So now let's fast forward. It's now May of 2021, and you've brought on additional dancers. You have Leah from Boston Ballet, Ida, also Lorenzo from Martha Graham. So what do you look for in your dancers?
I think for me, the pull is to, when I get these wonderful opportunities, the pull is to find all walks of life come together. Because when you think about all of their worlds colliding, it's just a recipe for such beauty and such layer and depth, you know? And that was the focus for Unveiling, because it is about this renewing and this ever-evolving change. And when I got this incredible opportunity for the Guggenheim and Lincoln Center, I was thinking, I saw Leah many years ago at Hudson Valley Dance Festival performing, and I have called her for many years every time I have a project, and she's never available. I've known Ida since she was a teenager. I've seen her perform in Cedar Lake. She's done many other shows of mine. She's the most gracious performer. So I texted both of them and said, are you available? Leah wasn't, and then was. And Ida was, and it was just this dream. I knew that these worlds would walk in 2 different worlds with grace, and they would get to know each other in this way and be a community of dancers.
Well, we are so fortunate.
But before we go into the next excerpt, I have to say we are less than 48 hours from the performances in the rotunda of the Guggenheim, and we're about to leave the Bubble Residency. And the piece you've just performed looks as if it was made for the rotunda. Right. Have you had an eye for that?
Yeah, I mean, the piece Unveiling is about this. The body is an onion. I keep thinking about it as an onion, and you just keep peeling the layers to find some more depth. And when you peel layers, there's this rawness that happens of things you want to let go to bring in, things that aren't serving you anymore, or this pattern that you've always been in that you wish to change, or taking the whisper from the backspace and bringing it to the forefront. And as I'm doing that, when I was thinking about this piece, because I was going through this big transition in my life during the creation of this piece, and thinking there's a wonder to it. So when I received this beautiful opportunity to perform it at the Rotunda, it then brought in this wonder of change, this wonder for a better life, a deeper truth, and I kept doing that, and I was thinking, oh my God, it's actually building and pushing the narrative even further. So this has helped instill and validate and ground Unveiling in this really beautiful way of wonderment, you know?
Well, can you tell us a little bit, or tell us what we should be looking for in this next excerpt that we're going to see now?
This next excerpt is a duet with Cassie and Ida and the song is called Bystander. Moses Sumney performed this incredible song with his guitarist Mike. And it's about, I take it, in Unveiling, I take it as being the fear of being not your full self. What is this? Is this an imposter? Or are you seeing a shadow of yourself? When you really look in the mirror, is what you're looking at really truthful? So it's the battle of that. Am I Am I in a life being half myself? Am I fighting with my truth because I'm afraid to move out of this thing that's not working? That's the back and forth struggle. So in the entirety of Unveiling, and specifically this piece, is that they're looking at themselves. So when they look at themselves, they're seeing themselves in the mirror and trying to find some depth and trying to find and fight that imposter syndrome or that half life that they're living.
Well, we'll take a look now. Let's dive into the second excerpt.
What's the use of confessing the truth to an executioner in the booth about the dueling voices in you? Now you barely remember your youth. You used to embrace the eerie and hell, visitations from spirit realms, gifted to see between astral planes. Now you plead to be played a bystander of bygone standards. They watch you waste away, waste away, waste away, waste away. Don't waste your candle on bystanders. They watch you waste away, waste away, waste away, waste away. Waste away, 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 waste away. And it's true that
Wow, that was incredible. Thank you so much, Sonya. So we've talked about where the piece has been, but now we are in a bubble residency. And for those of you who don't know, a bubble residency is where we bring a bunch of creators together after serial testing these artists. And once they test negative, they go into isolation where they work and create in safety for a prolonged period of time. Right now, we're partnering with the Catskill Mountain Foundation to make this possible at the beautiful Orpheum Theater, and this group will be here for 10 days. Sonya, being in a bubble residency, how has the experience been for you?
It's been a dream. It's been a true experience to have this beautiful theater and all of these dancers, and we just kept I took what we built at Catskill in that just really freeing creative time. I took those phrases, but you know, when you bring new people in, you want them to feel that they're starting to. It's always hard for me to just reference a video, and we did do that. We started just showing them the energy of the piece. I talked to them about the why of the piece, and then we took some of that video, and I wanted them to interpret it the way they see it, and we did it slowly, but then it just morphed because these are new people, and they're different, and their approach is different, and I wanted to invite all of those approaches in, so I let them find themselves inside the work that was already placed at Catskill, but then it just exploded again, because they're incredible and incredibly open, and all of it is much, just because of time, you get more depth and a much clearer idea. Yeah.
And also this time around, because we are actually exiting into a live performance, it's a different concept.
Yes, totally. And you get to there, we just got to play. And that is a true gift for an artist, to not just be beholden to finishing it because you have a premiere. That was such a playground of ideas. So that run that you saw was just this wonder of ideas. It wasn't totally crafted to be a showing. It was just, here are some more evolved ideas based on the music me and Moses discussed prior to Catskill that evolved, and then it evolved again for this residency, and it just keeps growing. Because you have to grow with your artists too, and give them a chance to sink their teeth in it as well.
And we really should say that the piece will continue to grow, because what we will be showing on June 1 at Lincoln Center Restart Stages as a matinee, and then in the Guggenheim Rotunda that evening, is really a chamber piece. It's 30 minutes long. So where does one see it going from here, Sonya?
The goal is that it's an evening length. So it's an hour of unveiling. That's the dream. And I feel so confident and grateful for this really evolved 30 minutes of unveiling, and having Moses be there just keeps uplifting it, you know?
But it's a step in a much greater process.
Yes, it's a step into a much greater process, and a step to really seeing the future of this piece. You know, I'm not a company, so to be gifted these residencies, to gather these dancers together that are in all of these profound companies, they don't get the chance to dance with other dancers often outside of their company. So this is just such a gift that I hope can be celebrated in a way to have an evening length that is a tour of some kind. We're ready to dream big.
Yeah, we are 100% behind you.
And you really have so much going on here. Can you share what else you are working on?
Yeah, well, Broadway is starting to open up again.
Hooray.
Yes. So we are gearing up for to rebuild Moulin Rouge again and bring that back into the forefront.
Congratulations on the Tony nomination.
Thank you. And then we're gearing up for the Tonys that are in the fall.
September
24th. Is it 24th or 26th? One of those. I think it's the 26th, actually. September 26th are the Tonys. But I'm leaving for Australia June 3rd to put Moulin Rouge up in Australia. And then I come back and get Broadway ready. Yeah.
So we'll close out the discussion with one last question. I always ask this. What do artists need right now?
That's a big question, dude. I think we need support. And that's a loaded word, right? We need to understand that performers have been frozen. What that does to the psyche is real. To be acknowledged that is trauma. How do we support those artists walking into the studio after a year and a half? That's huge. That's A. B, how do we understand that maybe the pace we were going in was a bit too fast? And I hope that we can ground ourselves and look deeper into each other and see that the baseline of what we really want is to be seen and heard and appreciated. And to do that, we need to understand what our artists need. And they need breath and time and support to understand that it's gonna take the mind some time to settle, then it will take the body time to settle and get ready, because these are marvels of art. All artists are marvels of ideas, and they thrive on being together, but we haven't touched each other. And I cry thinking about it, shook a hand or hugged in a long time. We can't just ask them to embrace without acknowledging, walking in the room and asking, how are we? And what do we need?
Yeah. All right, well, thank you so much for sharing with us your creative process, your insight, this incredible piece.
We are just so grateful. And of course, before we close and see this last excerpt, it's really important for us to thank the Catskill Mountain Foundation for helping us with this space.
Oh my goodness, this incredible, I wish you could see it all. It is so amazing.
And you've been living it.
I have. I've been sleeping in there. I mean, what? It's been so, I've been improvising at night by myself in the dark. It's been a truly remarkable experience.
And also thanking our generous funders, the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation, as well as the Doris Duke Charitable Foundation, for their generous support of Works Process and our Bubble Residency initiative.
And we'll close out with the final excerpt. Tell us what we should be looking for.
This last piece, it's Moses' beautiful song called Lonely World. It's the last song piece. And it's just about, it thrives on this pulse of when you get to that place of, okay, this is the decision I'm making to evolve myself and dig deeper into my truth. But then comes this race for it. And it's about that momentum of courage when you take the first step to better your life and embody your truth.
Thank you so much, Sonya.
Thank you.
Lonely, 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 lonely world. Cast a shadow on the shallow love it hurls. To the fields when it need not cast its pearls. Lonely, 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 lonely world. And the sound of the void flows through your body undestroyed. And the sound Cast a shadow on the shallow love it hurts. To the feet of swine.